शिक्षक हमारे राष्ट्र निर्माता हैं। शिक्षण संस्थानों में बेस्ट, मोटिवेटेड, एनर्जेटिक और कॉम्पिटेंट शिक्षकों का विकास राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 की प्राथमिकता है। नीति फैकल्टी की कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग पर विशेष जोर देती है ताकि वे भारतीय संस्कृति से जुड़े रहकर वैश्विक चैलेंजेस को समझ सके, शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में हो रही इनोवेशन से जुड़ सके। ऐसा होने से ही वे वैश्विक कॉम्पिटेंस वाले स्टूडेंट्स तैयार कर सकेंगे। शिक्षकों की कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग के लिए कई सर्टिफिकेशन प्रोग्राम, ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम एवं लीडरशिप डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम चलाए जा रहे हैं। अब जरूरत है इन प्रयासों का आकलन करते हुए, विचार विमर्श करते हुए आगे का रास्ता तय करने की।
नमस्कार। अखिल भारतीय शिक्षा समागम राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 कार्यान्वयन विमर्श के तृतीय सत्र में पुनः आपका हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करती हूँ। तृतीय सत्र के मंचासीन विद्वानों से विनम्रतापूर्वक निवेदन करती हूँ कि कृपया आप मंच पर आकर अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। इस सत्र की अध्यक्षता कर रहे हैं डॉक्टर M.K. श्रीधर, मेंबर ऑफ ड्राफ्टिंग कमेटी ऑफ नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी, यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रांट कमीशन। सर, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत और अभिनंदन। आज के अन्य पैनलिस्ट में प्रोफेसर अविनाश चंद्र पांडे, डायरेक्टर IUAC दिल्ली। सर, आपसे भी विनम्र अनुरोध है, आपका स्वागत। प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर विजय कुमार श्रीवास्तव, वाइस चांसलर ऑफ महाराजा सयाजीराव बड़ौदा, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वडोदरा। हमारे अगले पैनलिस्ट हैं प्रोफेसर दिनेश प्रसाद सकलानी, चेयरपर्सन NCTE न्यू दिल्ली। सर, आपका भी बहुत बहुत स्वागत। प्रोफेसर संजीव जैन, वाइस चांसलर सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ जम्मू। आप सभी का तहे दिल से स्वागत करती हूँ, अभिनंदन करती हूँ। आज के इस सत्र का हमारा विषय है गवर्नेंस एंड कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग ऑफ टीचर्स एंड क्वालिटी एजुकेशन। इस सत्र के अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर M.K. श्रीधर सर से निवेदन करती हूँ कि आप इस सत्र का प्रारंभ करें। धन्यवाद सर।
Namaskar, brothers and sisters. The topic of this session is governance and capacity building of teachers in higher educational institutions. Let me put the issue at right perspective. Capacity building also includes capacity to govern. Secondly, when you talk of teachers, I would like to amend it in a small way. It's not just teachers, it is educators. Educators include all those who are working in higher education institutions. So with this perspective, I would like to request my panelists to present before you their views, and we thought that we will try to sit here itself and present so that we can save time. Secondly, we would like to focus on micro actions to be taken at our university level. So may I now request Professor Pandey, Avinash Pandey, to present your views.
माननीय श्री राज्यपाल, माननीय शिक्षा मंत्री जी, मंत्रिमंडल के सभी सदस्यगण, इस सभागार में उपस्थित सभी विद्वज्जन। कल माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने उद्बोधन में एक अनुभव साझा किया विद्यार्थियों से, उनका जो अन्योन्य इंटरैक्शन था। यह इंटरैक्शन उस ओर इंगित करता है कि उच्च शिक्षा में that learning is never complete because the higher education institutions, the teachers, they nurture students, youngsters for the future generation. Two important things, youngsters for future generation. And because of that, the teachers, teacher educators, and also the academic administrators, their learning is never complete. आज़ादी के अमृत काल में जो 25 वर्ष हैं, इस भारी भरकम हायर एजुकेशन सिस्टम में about 15 lakh teachers are there and they are to be touched. So by touching means in their teaching life cycle, at least 4 times they are supposed to get opportunity for CPD, continuous professional development. The first stage is when they join the system, they are capable, they need to be motivated, they need to be energized, they are supposed to get oriented to the system for which we have the programs. Then when they have matured, they have got to know the teaching learning processes, they are acclimatized to system, so they are supposed to get refreshed and also updated about the domain in which they are pursuing their teaching. And then when they progress, the cross-fertilization of ideas need to take place for which interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary opportunity should be given so that they can understand, they can appreciate other domains of knowledge also. When we again progress, some of us become dean, some of us become director, so we need to get trained for taking the team as a whole and give a good leadership. So for that matter, another opportunity comes when you need to get trained, get equipped with the essential knowledge. I may be a good researcher, but I may not be a good administrator. So academic administration, becoming academic administrator responsive to HEI require another important activity. And when we reach to the level of top level, so we should become enlightened soul, and for that matter, we should be in a position to throw light on the subjects which are needed for the society. So these are 4 stages in which we need to have. So we have to make the teachers responsive, we have to make the HEIs responsive. Earlier, what happened that if I have to get promoted, I have to participate in some program. But now it should be spontaneous. Everybody should come forward. We should not wait. And also for that matter, we have to have all the duplication that is there. We have 66 HRDCs, we have 95 Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Initiatives, the centers, TTLCs, NRCs, we have knitters, we have Atal Academies. So whatever effort we are doing need to be dovetailed in such a manner they become responsive and they cater to the largest system which is there. And the largest system is also having diversity. So we have to provide the learning space to the teachers who come from different background, different life cycle of that teacher. And also for making that, we have to have more number of players to come into, for which we have to have some kind of meta-accrediting bodies. The learning outcomes of those capacity development programs need to be assessed. So with these steps, the HEI system is ready to take up the challenges for implementing NEP. And again, if NEP is to get implemented successfully, it is required the people who are responsible for implementing, they should be on the same page. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Pandey ji. You have set a very good trend of putting the points in 5 minutes. Thank you. May I now request Professor Vijay Kumar Srivastava, Vice-Chancellor of Maharaja, Sayajirao University of Baroda.
Namaskar. The topic of this session is governance and capacity building of teachers for quality education. When I was discussing with Sridhar ji, I told in this session, I will share my own experiences rather than sharing the things whatever is mentioned in NEP. Although many of the things may be there, but what I feel that there is a need for continuous capacity building of teachers for quality education. It's not say sometimes we are learning something and we are not making it continuous. What I feel, like always, we are emphasizing that internship for the students. In the same manner, what I feel, some sort of internship or industry exposure or exposure in the working field, wherever they want to send their students as a brand ambassador of their institutions, they should first get some sort of exposure in those industries, in those areas wherever they are projecting their students. The second thing, what I feel, it would be, say, some sort of different faculty development programs. This internship may be one of the steps wherever we are working. The second point which I would like to share with you, that is hand-holding for capacity building. Again, you can say it is, say, the sort of mentor-mentee relationship. What I feel, in the entire national education policy, there are, say, some 3-4 categories. One is school, second is college, third is university, and fourth is institute of national importance. What I feel, that hand-holding of college schools must be done by colleges. Hand-holding of colleges must be done by universities, and hand-holding of universities must be done by institute of national importance. As far as the quality education is concerned, I feel that among our teaching community, hard skills and soft skills both are required hand to hand. It's not only the hard skill, but the soft skill is also required. Fourth point which I would like to say regarding quality education, that is, say, the faculty exchange program within the Indian universities and universities located in abroad. So this way we can say whatever they will learn in these areas, they will share with their students. If we say the new miles in competency for governance and capacity building of teachers for quality education, it would be, say, the sort of intelligence. Intelligence among teachers, what I feel, it is, say, the flexibility of change. Basically, the intelligence among the faculty is flexibility of change, because every now and then the technology is changing, and if we are ready to adopt, if we are flexible to adopt those changes, then probably it is, say, the intelligence decision. Some other points, what I feel is required in the teaching community, that is self-awareness. Second is ability to face the challenges. Third point is ability to learn by their own vision. Whatever the vision they are having, they should learn by their own vision. Fourth is ability to see the connection and divergence. Here I would like to share one example of one of the startup in Bangalore. This is what the ability to see the connection and divergence. What he did, that student, basically we know that our shoe size is 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. He has customized the shoes because he thought that shoe number may be 8.5, 9.5, 6.5, etc. So like we are wearing the clothes, that is tailor-made clothes. He has got this idea, and now, sir, he is just going for this sort of a startup, which is really very appreciable. This is, say, the sort of divergence. Students are thinking beyond their conventional practice and going for the divergence. Other ability for quality education is ability to cause no harms to the others. Next is ability to see all around the angles and ability to ask the fundamental questions. Sir, one more thing I would like to share. In our conventional teaching, we are having 60 minutes lecture. What I feel, that this 60-minute lecture should be divided into 55 plus 5 minutes. 55 minutes for whatever the conventional knowledge they are giving, and 5 minutes for the application of those particular topics, or it can be, say, the motivation to the students. So this way, innovation in teaching and learning is the must. And if you see that for quality education, मेरा अंत में सभी से एक निवेदन है और खुद का ऐसा सोच है कि क्वालिटी एजुकेशन के लिए हम सभी फैकल्टी मेंबर्स को अलग सोचने का साहस रखना होगा, आविष्कार करने का साहस रखना होगा, अंधेरे रास्तों पे चलने का साहस होगा असंभव को खोजने का साहस करना होगा, समस्याओं पे जीत हासिल कर सफल होने का साहस रखना होगा। मैंने एमएस यूनिवर्सिटी ज्वाइन करने के बाद नई शिक्षा नीति का जिस्ट 5 संकल्प सूत्र के माध्यम से रखा है, वो मैं आप सभी के समक्ष रखना चाहूँगा। ये 5 संकल्प सूत्र हैं। पहला है शिक्षा के साथ दीक्षा, दूसरा प्रकृति के साथ संस्कृति, तीसरा भव्यता के साथ सभ्यता, चौथा ज्ञान के साथ विज्ञान और पांचवा ज्ञान के साथ अनुसंधान। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ जय हिंद, जय भारत।
नमस्कार सर, बहुत धन्यवाद। अब मैं प्रोफेसर सकलानी, चेयरमैन ऑफ नेशनल काउंसिल फॉर टीचर एजुकेशन।
सभी को नमस्कार। मैं टीचर बिल्डिंग की बात करूंगा कि किस तरह के टीचर हमको न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के, नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के तहत चाहिए। दैट इज़ ए ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम NCTE हैज़ लॉन्च्ड, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड इंटीग्रेटेड टीचर एजुकेशन प्रोग्राम। So, ITEP, as envisaged in para 15.5 of NEP 2020, states that the 4-year integrated B.Ed offered by such multidisciplinary higher education of institutions will by 2030 become the minimal degree qualification for school teachers. In view of this, a curriculum framework and suggestive syllabus of ITEP aligned with NEP 2020 was prepared by NCTE and submitted to Ministry of Education on 20th May 2021. Thereafter, an expert committee of 6 members was constituted by the Ministry of Education on 21st January 2022 to recommend and give final shape to the 4-year ITEP curriculum and syllabus. We speak about the significance of the ITEP, it emphasizes on preparing teachers as envisaged in pedagogical and curricular restructuring of school education under NEP 2020, that is 5+3+3+4. Apart from preparing teachers for the school education system in the country, the disciplinary knowledge gained in different subjects would help the teachers to gain in-depth knowledge in their subjects, which would ensure admission to higher studies in that disciplinary stream and for higher professional qualifications. ITEP, as recommended by NEP 2020, will be a 4-year duration program after grade 12th or equivalent, in which admission will be through National Common Entrance Test, that is NCET, and which will be conducted by NTA. It will be an integrated dual major bachelor degree in a discipline and education in line with the credit-based structure of UGC 4-year undergraduate program. The students will have the flexibility to choose interdisciplinary subjects which will be taught in a multidisciplinary environment. The 4-year ITEP will be available for all students who choose teaching as a profession after secondary by their own choice. ITEP will not only impart cutting-edge pedagogy, but will also establish a foundation in early childhood care and education, foundational literacy and numeracy, inclusive education, and an understanding of India and its values, ethos, art, tradition, among others, as has earlier been spoken by some scholars. The 4-year ITEP will be a milestone in fulfilling one of the major mandate of National Education Policy 2020. The course will contribute substantially to the revitalization of the whole teacher education sector. And this is much more required as of now, because we have been producing a force of unemployed trained teachers. So that will be addressed by this program. The prospective teachers passing out of this course through a multidisciplinary environment grounded in Indian values and traditions will be instilled with the needs of the 21st century on global standards, and therefore will be largely helpful in shaping the future of New India, as is expected from this NEP. So presently, the expert committee constituted by the Ministry of Education on 21st January 2022 is discussing and deliberating on the curricular framework to give it a final shape, NCT has invited applications. NCT has invited applications from state, central government institutions for launching this ITEP program from the academic session 2023-24 on pilot basis throughout the country. A total of 195 applications have been received, and these are being processed by NCTE as of now. If we talk about the structure, credit, and course of this program, it comprises common courses, foundation of education, disciplinary, interdisciplinary, specific major and minor, and stage-specific pedagogy and practices. So it will be a new sort of teacher training course, which is a ray of hope. And I think that if we go by this, certainly we are going to build the capacity of the teachers before service. Although we have been always focusing on the in-service training, but if we get the pre-trained teachers, those will be an asset rather than a liability. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Bahut-bahut dhanyawad.
Thank you, Professor Saklani ji. I think this ITEP is a capacity building of teachers. I think if we have to really deliver it, we need lot of capacity building in our institutions. So that's why that becomes relevant. I now request Professor Sanjeev Jain ji to intervene in the form of a small case study. Sanjeev Jain ji.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Minister of Education, Honorable Governor of State of UP, and the galaxy of accommodations. I start with the quote: an illiterate of 21st century will not be those who can't read and write, but those who can't learn or learn and relearn. So, with this, in our institution, as we know that the online teaching is going to be in a big way, so we are developing the course by the help of the AI and ML, and we know that the bot will be the next person to answer any of the questions that is raised by any of the students. So we are working in that model. Next thing we have done that, because teacher has to come up with new course in at least 2 years. He should develop at least one course. So we have requested the teachers to come up by taking the 2 courses from any of the platforms, and it's compulsory to have the 2 courses to be there in their credit. Then in order to have a good research culture in our university, we have created an average impact factor of each of the departments. With the creation of the average impact factor, each and every teacher should contribute for the research purpose. So, and it will help in creating a good research ecosystem. We have also done working towards a new framework. As we know that our young minds are very fertile, and with the incubation system, that is available to the university, we are making a system in which the teacher can come up with a product which he has patented with a student or a startup, and he can be there for a sabbatical of 3 years. He can go to come up or find out whether he is capable to run the industry or not. After the 3 years, he can come either maybe in the industry or he can come back to the university. So this model also we are creating for the innovation and incubation systems. To have the IRG, to have the seed money, because most of the problem is with the seed money, and no one wants their incubators to be associated with the other institutions. So for that also we have made the 5% of the IRG that we are generating each year is to be used for the seed money purpose. And I feel so it will help to have good seed money in the coming years. Thank you.
I think he brought a good case study. I think there are 3 varieties that are presented. Now, yeah.
मैं पुनः सभी से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि डिस्कशन सत्र शुरू हो रहा है। आप सभी से अनुरोध है एक ही सवाल और संक्षिप्त सवाल पूछें। धन्यवाद।
Is there any arrangement to reach out to them? Please. Please, I request you straight to come to the question or clarification.
नमस्कार, मैं शिव त्रिपाठी, आत्मीय विश्वविद्यालय राजकोट. Sir, this is one observation, rather question. This is the time that we must recognize the discipline of higher education management. You come from the discipline of management, that's why I am making this suggestion. We need evidence-based policy making, and for that the research into higher education management is very much needed. Most of the policy making in higher education lacks the scientific research. And many of the developed countries have programs like DBA, Masters in Higher Education Management, Executive Masters. When we are moving towards the NEP implementation, it's time that we recognize and we formally introduce executive programs in higher education management discipline. Just a suggestion. Thank you.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम सुधीर जैन है, मैं बनारस हिंदू विश्वविद्यालय में हूँ। हम लोग कई बार टीचर्स के बारे में कहते हैं कि उनको क्या करना चाहिए। हम कभी टीचर्स के बारे में भी सोचना चाहिए कि वो क्या करना चाहते हैं और क्या हम इस तरह की व्यवस्था करें कि वो खुद ट्रेनिंग करना चाहें, उनके अंदर इच्छा हो, क्योंकि अभी हम लोग काफ़ी पुश कर रहे हैं, हमको पुल भी करना है, टीचर्स को पुल करना है। एक तो ये चीज़। दूसरी चीज़ ये है कि अगर हमारे दुनिया में इस समय जो ओलंपिक के धावक होते हैं, ओलंपिक में कुश्ती लड़ने वाले होते हैं, अगर उनके पास पर्सनल कोच है, तो मैं वाइस चांसलर बन गया, मुझको पर्सनल कोच नहीं चाहिए क्या? तो मुझको लगता है कि पिछले 20-25 साल से जो मेरे पर्सनल कोचेज़ रहे हैं, उनसे मुझे बहुत लाभ हुआ है। ऐसा मेरा मानना है कि हम में से कोई भी कितना भी सक्सेसफुल हो, उसको पर्सनल कोचेस चाहिए, एक नहीं कई चाहिए, विभिन्न विषयों में चाहिए, विभिन्न स्पेशलाइजेशंस में चाहिए, और जब भी हमें समस्या हो हम अपने कोच से पर्सनल गाइडेंस लें और एडवाइस लें। धन्यवाद।
मैं सर से एक स्टेप आगे बढ़ना चाहूँगा।
One minute, sir.
I would like to respond
I think Professor
to the
Pandey
question.
would like to respond. One minute, sir. 1 minute.
So just to respond to Professor Jain, we have already come out with the guidelines for mentorship, mentoring in the HEIs, and whatever you have envisaged, that is going to get fulfilled very soon.
Professor Pandey ji, I am coming one step ahead of what Professor Sudhir Jain said. We talk about training of teachers of primary, secondary and higher secondary. But what about the teachers of higher education capacity building pre-induction? I'm going beyond of this orientation program and Guru Dakshata and all that. Is there any kind of thought going on for pre-training of the teachers before inducting them in the classroom? And that is very much needed. I think this is need of the hour. Most of us have got informal training, and there is very dire need of formalization of proper training of the teachers before putting it in the classroom. Thank you very much.
Yes. Professor Srivastava would like to answer.
प्रोफेसर जैन और आलोक जी के क्वेश्चन में मैंने बताया था कि हैंड होल्डिंग की बात जो मैं कर रहा हूँ ये डिजिग्नेटेड कर रहा हूँ कि जैसे मान लीजिए बीएचयू है, बीएचयू किसकी हैंड होल्डिंग करेगा वो मालूम होगा, तो इस तरह से पूरा एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम करके या फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम करके जैसे भी है तो हम लोग डिजिग्नेटेड हैंड होल्डिंग करेंगे। इन जनरल ऐसा नहीं बोलेंगे कि कॉलेजेस की हैंड होल्डिंग यूनिवर्सिटीज़ कर रहे हैं, यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की हैंड होल्डिंग इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस कर रहे हैं।
या थैंक यू प्लीज सर प्लीज
Just a minute. 1 second, sir. Hand holding is up to mentorship. My question is, what about formal training of teachers who are going to teach the students of higher learning and researches? That is something very important, and we need to understand the need of this kind of requirements. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. The systematic body of knowledge and formal mode of acquisition is all being planned, pre-training as well as across the life cycle of the teachers. So that is all.
And then there is a national mission for mentoring. That
Hello.
is very important task.
I
and it will
thank you.
certainly bring the change in the mind of the teachers. Mentor-mentee relationship is very important, and that is some sort of, very, 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 very fruitful program.
Yeah, good morning, General Venkatesh here. I am Vice-Chancellor, Manipal Academy of Higher
Kindly,
Education.
because many people are standing, so if you can raise your hands, I can recognize who is asking the question.
Yes.
Please, sir. You are having, please.
Sir, I am General Venkatesh, Vice-Chancellor, Manipal Academy of Higher Education. I am just going to make one comment about the fourth stage of development of academic leaders. I am just quoting our experience. We have a formal training program of 9 months from mid-level faculty who are trained to become academic administrators. I am happy to state that most of the academic administrators are evolving from this training system.
Thank you.
Hello.
Sir, with due respect,
Please.
with due respect to the chairman,
Yeah.
सर एक और अनाउंसमेंट है कि आप एक ही व्यक्ति अनेक सवाल ना करें और फिर से अनुरोध है संक्षिप्त रूप से अपने प्रश्न को रखें. धन्यवाद.
Yes. Thank you. Myself, Kumar, Vice-Chancellor, Central University of Haryana. If I look at the quality of education and teachers' capacity building, it is very, very important that if you were to implement the NEP in real sense, we have to improve our examination system. We have to not only see the assessment, internal assessment and final assessment, we have to really look for formative assessment. And because we are going from not only the knowledge assessment, we have to see that how make our students more with the wisdom and looking at the assessment of their creativity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, we all are talking about capacity building. Unless or otherwise, we completely analyze the training need analysis. We should first map the competency profile of the academic administrators. If that mapping is being done, only after that we will identify that what is the need for the training. So that exercise probably should be the starting point, the first step. Unless or otherwise we do it, the concept of the capacity building is of no use. So that mapping tools, those efficient instruments must be designed so that they may be applicable at all level, starting from the primary section to the universities to the institution of national importance. And everywhere it should be clearly laid down that these are the competency profile, and then analysis should be done, and then probably the training may be planned.
Thank you.
Good
I
afternoon,
think
sir.
training need analysis. Yeah, please.
I think...
Madam, next is yours, please. Wait a minute, sir, please.
I think
Please.
we are all talking about the quality education. We never talk about quality, time-to-time assessment of the teachers. When I joined AIMS in 75, the director of AIMS used to sit every class, and at the end of the questionnaire, the student will evaluate the teachers. Student will evaluate the teachers. But in 25 years, the AIMS Delhi stopped doing that because teacher did not like it. So many things what to say, we may very hear patiently, but we will not like it. Would you like to be evaluated by students? Would you like to be evaluated by your director or vice-chancellor? Would you like to be thrown out every 5 years interval if you do not merit? This is what happens in AIMS Delhi.
So, madam, let her ask. I'll come to you. Next is yours. Please.
नमस्कार सर. सर, आई एम संगीता शुक्ला. सर, हम इस वक्त कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग एंड टीचर एजुकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं. अगर हम स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की बात करते हैं तो 60% टीचर्स जो हैं वो कंट्रैक्चुअल टीचर्स हैं और टीचिंग असिस्टेंट के बतौर काम कर रहे हैं. जो भी हम कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग की बात कर रहे हैं वो एग्जिस्टिंग टीचर्स की बात कर रहे हैं जो स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में लगभग बहुत कम है. तो कोई एक सिस्टम ऐसा बने जो एग्जिस्टिंग टीचिंग असिस्टेंट्स हैं या कंट्रैक्चुअल टीचर्स हैं, इनके लिए भी अगर हम लोग सिस्टम में ला सकें तो हमारी टीचिंग बहुत स्ट्रेंथन होगी और तभी रिसर्च, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, इनोवेशन पे हम ज़्यादा फोकस कर पाएंगे. थैंक यू.
Sir, anybody else would like to? There are only one or two questions. Yourself and yourself, sir. Please.
Namaskar, Sridhar ji. I am Dr. Gopal, Director, NIT Goa. Education is not pumping of information to the student's mind. It is a constant training of mind to think. Unfortunately, the half-life of a teacher is only 4 years. Unless they update as per the need, it becomes obsolete. So today IITs are great because of the quality of teaching learning process and teacher total relation. I think the teacher has to be trained very well periodically as per the need. This is the need of the hour. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir,
I'm
please.
Dr. Nagaraj, Vice-Chancellor from Graphicera University, Dehradun. As you know, for effective implementation of NEP, so teachers plays a prominent role. So, but most of my colleagues might agree, of late the faculty members who are joining are not joining by choice, they're joining by chance. So that is why the commitment, dedication is very, very less. That too, again, if you compare with government institution and private institution, this is there. That's why my sincere request is, like how Nishta is there for teachers training for school education and all, like that even for higher education, teachers are to be motivated, trained. It is not simply faculty development program for 3 days. It should be like an induction program for 3 weeks or so, mandatorily. It should be made mandatory both for private and government. Then only it will be effective implementation is possible. Thank you.
Somebody
Sir,
there, sir? One minute, sir.
I'm Professor.
1 minute, sir, please. Somebody raised their hand? Yeah, please. You will be the last questioner, sir.
Right, sir.
I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
Please.
मेरा विनम्र अनुरोध ये है कि उच्च शिक्षा के अंतर्गत 2 प्रमुख धाराएं हैं। एक तो अध्यापन की है, दूसरा अनुसंधान की है। अध्यापन के लिए तो काफ़ी चर्चाएं हो रही हैं, लेकिन मेरा अनुसंधान के उच्च शिक्षा का क्षेत्र जो है वो अधूरा रहता है। तो मेरा कहना ये है, अनुसंधान के विषय, अनुसंधान के पाठ्यक्रम, अनुसंधान के आधार पर जो नैरेटिव बनता है और पूरी जो राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति है, उस नैरेटिव को परिवर्तन, रूपांतरण करने के लिए उत्तरदायी है। इसमें भाषा का भी जो है महत्व बहुत अधिक है। अंग्रेज़ी भाषा का जिस प्रकार से वर्चस्व बढ़ता जा रहा है, उसको किस प्रकार से हम नियंत्रित करेंगे। कल भी आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने मातृभाषा और अपनी भाषाओं की बातचीत की गई थी, उसके बारे में कुछ चिंतन करना पड़ेगा। 3 साल तक लगातार जो अनुसंधान के क्षेत्र में विद्यार्थी काम करता है, वही शिक्षक बनता है। एक ट्रेनिंग उसकी हो जाती है, भविष्य में किस प्रकार का काम होगा, इस पर चिंता करना ही बहुत आवश्यक है। धन्यवाद।
अच्छा,
Thank you, sir. Sir, I am Professor B.P. Veerabhadrappa from Coimbatore University, Karnataka. Sir, I really plead that NEP is a different, unique policy. We should not go for the earlier policy. As what Professor Sudhir Jain was talking about, this capacity building is not only for teachers, but also for administrators, but also for students also. So in that context, there should be a holistic approach. As what yesterday our Prime Minister was talking about, at least there should be a think tank to see that at least for once in a month, or once in 2 months, once in 3 months, we should have these type of think tanks, whereby we may be able to evaluate as to what aspects that we may be able to go ahead, and how do we be able to proceed further in the context of the successful working of NEP. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. I think whether any of the panel members would like to very briefly, half a minute, would like to intervene, respond to any of the points.
Excuse me, sir.
Like in researches, Professor Bajpayee was referring to the capacity building in the research area. So I come from IUC, which is actually meant for capacity building in the area of accelerator-based research. NEP also envisages that we should have center of excellences, having a hub-spoke model, and almost all the domains can be touched, where we can have a sort of hand-holding for upcoming area or for making people aware what is happening around the world. So that is also planned, but how to get it implemented will definitely take its own course.
Sanjeev Jain?
Simply I want to add with the research only.
सर,
We are
क्षमा चाहूँगी बीच में रोकने के लिए। इसके साथ ही हम लोग प्रश्नों के सत्र को समाप्त करते हैं और अध्यक्ष महोदय से निवेदन करती हूँ कि आप अपना मुख्य वक्तव्य दें। धन्यवाद।
Please leave it.
One of the parameters that we can also look is to file the patent before the submission of the PhD degrees, where it is possible. It will not bother for all the cases, but it will carry the value to your what the work you have done, and it is also for the, it will benefit for the society also. Thank you.
ये
मेरा जो इंडस्ट्री एक्सपोजर या जिस भी एरिया में टीचर्स अपने स्टूडेंट्स को प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं उस बारे में जो था वो ये था कि वहाँ जा कर के वहाँ की लोकल प्रॉब्लम्स को समझ सकें और उन लोकल प्रॉब्लम्स पे रिसर्च कर सकें, विच इज़ वेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड. दिस इज़ व्हाट आई वांट टू से.
रिसर्च मोटिवेशन से होती है और पेटेंट हम फाइल करते हैं, पेटेंट बन भी जाते हैं, मगर उसके बाद प्रोडक्शन नहीं होता है. सबसे बड़ा लॉस हमको इस बात से होता है. अगर कोई पेटेंट बनता है, पेटेंट रजिस्टर होता है, अवार्ड होता है, तो उसके बाद उस पर प्रोडक्शन इंडस्ट्री के साथ मिलकर प्रोडक्शन होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. वो एवर लास्टिंग इम्पैक्ट उसका हो सकता है और रिसर्च का मोटिवेशन इससे और रिसर्चर्स का मोटिवेशन होगा.
Friends, I think it was very interesting that the panelists presented their views. Many of you responded. I think this session has really built capacity to ask questions. The capacity building has really happened because people were asking crisp questions, pointed questions, and focused clarifications. I think this is a very good step in the direction. What I would like to say at the end of this session is, the policy lays the leadership of every higher educational institution, whether it is university or a college. The leadership plays a very, very critical role. I would like to only refer to two terms used: capable leadership and ethical leadership. Mere capacity is not enough. That leadership must also be ethical. And if you really want to build this, the question is, in every higher educational institution, how do we bring about this capable and ethical leadership there? When it comes to this, I have a point. You know, at the macro level, if you see what ministry can do, what UGC can do, what somebody else can do, all this is there, no doubt about it. All of them have to do, and they cannot escape the responsibility. But let me also bring to your kind notice that what is that I can do, what is that I will do. When I say I am referring to the higher educational institution. If I am representing a university, my university. If I am representing a college, my college. I think this is where the real issue broadens comes. For example, if my university decides, without waiting for anybody, I can definitely initiate some kind of capacity building. I will make use of the resources. I will make use of the teachers. I will make use of the retired teachers. I will make use of the alumni. If I want, if I have a mind, I can. I think this is possible, and many of us have really exhibited on the ground. So therefore, what I would like to say, there is a very important tool suggested by National Education Policy of Institutional Development Plan. For 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, like that. I think the most important thing of capacity building, building of capacity to prepare an institutional development plan. If this can happen, I think we will have clarity, we will have priorities, we will have focus, and we start working on it. I think, keeping this in view, I feel, institutional development plan can really cover issues like program design and implementation. See, many a time we are talking of curriculum and things like that. But curriculum design and framework is a very, very important dimension of capacity. The second one is operational efficiency, excellence. If I had to manage all my operations, there was a reference to management. You need to have that operational efficiency. If I don't carry on the operations, I cannot deliver. And lastly, the people in the organization, how their capacities can be built. Friends, I think this capacity building, entire thing, entire institution, governance and leadership will come under institutional development plan, and if we can do that, I think that will be the real takeaway. I just would like to end this session by a small poem written by Rabindranath Tagore long back. Sun God, who gives light to every one of us day in and day out, once makes an appeal that I would like to go on a casual leave tomorrow. Is there anybody who is ready to take on my job? There is silence and silence and silence. But there is a feeble voice somewhere is saying that I will, I can. And the sun god looks into it. That is nothing but a small lamp. The lamp says, I cannot remove the darkness of the world. I can remove darkness within my surroundings. That is micro action. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
धन्यवाद सर। आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ इस सत्र के अध्यक्ष प्रोफेसर M.K. श्रीधर सर और पैनलिस्ट प्रोफेसर अविनाश चंद्र पांडे, प्रोफेसर विजय कुमार श्रीवास्तव, प्रोफेसर दिनेश प्रसाद सकलानी और प्रोफेसर संजीव जैन। सर, आप सभी से अनुरोध है आप सभागार में अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। बहुत बहुत आभार और धन्यवाद।